Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. When it comes to cooking, and especially inventive cooking, necessity is the mother of invention. Sometimes you make a dish and you want a certain taste to go along with that dish. In this edition, I'm trying to complement some fried chicken cutlets that I just made. And the recipe is on stepbystepchef.com. And I was trying to think, well, what's something different that I can have with it? And I know that I love to have noodles with chicken, so that's a great match. And then I was thinking, well, what else can I do? And maybe make a nice mushroom, a mild mushroom onion sauce that will complement both the noodles and the chicken cutlet. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. We are going to make a mushroom lemon sauce. And I think you're really going to like this. It's a versatile sauce, and you can use it with all kinds of dishes. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our mushroom lemon sauce. We're going to use, this is a 24-ounce package of Baby Bellas. Those are Baby Bella mushrooms. White mushrooms are fine too. And we're going to chop slice about 4 cups of mushrooms out of that container, and that'll be plenty. We're going to squeeze half of this lemon into it. You can squeeze a little bit more into it if you like yours tart, very tart. We're going to use 2 cups of that chicken broth. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, just to counteract the lemon a little bit, although I don't want to make this a sweet sauce, but just enough to counteract that taste. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now that might need to be adjusted depending on how much liquid the mushrooms give out. I might have to add a little bit more cornstarch or maybe a little bit less. We're also going to use half a stick of butter and 2 garlic cloves, which we're going to crush. So let me show you how to put all this together. Okay, so I have my mushrooms here. I rinsed the grit off of them, and they are ready to be sliced, and I just have a bowl to slice them into. And we don't have to be too surgical about this. Oops, a little water got in that one. I'm just cutting it about an eighth to a 1/4 inch thick slices. And then I'm taking each of the slices and just giving it a half slice. And I'm going to do this with all of the mushrooms until I have 4 cups of mushroom pieces. And I know the rough measure of 4 cups, but if you're not familiar with these measures, have a measuring cup here, fill it up, put it in your bowl, and then just repeat until you have your 4 cups of mushrooms. So I'm going to see you in a moment after I finish chopping up the amount of mushrooms I need. Okay, so I have this skillet preheating over medium heat. And everyone's stove is a little bit different. You might have to reduce the temperature a little bit if you get any scorching. But the first thing we're going to do is melt our butter. Just melt the butter in the pan. You can see it's melting quite nicely. And once that's all melted, we're just going to saute our mushrooms before we add the other ingredients. And when we saute them, we want to keep them moving just a little bit. And when they start to appear slightly translucent on the outside, then we can add our other ingredients. This will help the mushrooms to give up some of their flavor into the sauce, and also to maintain their own integrity as they're cooking in the chicken broth with the other ingredients. So 5 minutes later, you can see the mushrooms have reduced, they're nice and sauteed, and yet they haven't disappeared. The point of this dish is not to let them disappear. So now let's crush our garlic into the dish. These are 2 garlic cloves. And if you don't have one of these crushers, you can finely mince the garlic. That's fine. I'm just adding this now so that the garlic will saute a little bit too. I don't want it to burn, so I did not add it any earlier than this point. Just let it give up some of its flavor. And when you're doing this, just be careful that you don't get any of the garlic wrapper in the dish. Okay, so we'll stir that in. I can already smell the garlic giving up its essence. And now let's just squeeze our lemon, and you can hand squeeze it into a bowl ahead of time. And I don't like this as a super tart dish, so just half a lemon is just perfect by me. Then we'll add our salt. That's good. And a little bit of sugar. And again, do this to taste. If you want to leave the sugar out, you can. I just like something that counteracts the lemon just a little bit, so it's not a super tart dish. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking one of our cups of chicken broth. This is a good store-bought chicken broth. You can use your own, certainly, if you have any on hand. And not all chicken broths are created equally, so make sure you experiment a little bit. And what I'm doing is I'm stirring the cornstarch into it, so it's nice and smooth. We don't have any clumps. And then I'm just going to pour this in. And then I'll add our other cup of chicken broth. And this is just going to thicken up the sauce a little bit. Now, depending on how much liquid the mushrooms gave out, you might want to add a little bit more cornstarch just to thicken the sauce a little bit more. It's totally up to you. Just give it a few minutes to see how much it thickens before you add any more ingredients. And what we're going to do is simmer this for 5 to 10 minutes until it thickens. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare the egg noodles I want to have with this. I already have my chicken cutlet made. That's going to be a tasty sauce. In fact, what you can do too is, if you've ever noticed on TV that a lot of the chefs sample the sauces ahead of time with a clean spoon, a disposable spoon or whatever, they sample it. And people do that because ingredients vary. And that's one of the secrets of cooking, is you have to accept that ingredients vary, and sometimes you're going to want to make slight adjustments here and there. So give the sauce a little bit of taste. Decide if you want more salt, more sugar, more lemon, maybe more garlic, and just add a little bit more and get that taste the way you like it. So I'm going to saute this. I mean, not saute it, but I'm going to simmer this, and then I'll be right back. Just don't bring it to a full boil because it'll overcook. Just kind of get it steamy with a slow simmer going. And again, for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll be right back. Okay, now here's 5 minutes into the saute process. The sauce is just a little bit thin to my liking, so I took a 1/4 cup of the chicken broth and I added another tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm just stirring that in. I also added a little bit more lemon juice to it to give it just a little bit more flavor. Again, the ingredients vary, so that's where flexibility comes in, and that's where you have to work it a little bit to achieve your taste. And you can see this is already thickening up. So I just wanted to show you that this is kind of one of the tricks that cooks use. It's not usually, in fact it's very rarely, that you go through a recipe in a checklist fashion and go check, 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 and everything tastes exactly the way you want it to taste. Play with that food a little bit. Get it the way you want it. So I'm just going to give this a few more minutes, and then it's ready to serve. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made this delicious mushroom lemon sauce, which goes good on these noodles, on, I told you already I'm going to have it with a chicken cutlet on the side. It just adds a certain flair to all kinds of different dishes. Use your imagination. This is a good recipe. Now, if you want a copy of it, please go to my website, stepbystepchef.com, and you can print this recipe for free. What you're also going to find there, however, I want to not drop that on my foot, is my cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef. And in here, you're going to find well over 175 recipes probably under 200 by the time you see this video. So you're going to find the recipes in here, and on the website you're going to find the videos. Every recipe has a step-by-step chef video. You will find the videos that go with this. You're going to find video links on the website. So when you put it all together, at the end of the day, you're going to have some delicious breakfast, lunch, dinners, and even a couple of snacks. Always got to have our snacks. It makes a great gift for your friends and relatives too. So again, I'm Larry Richardson. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.